Hey, young world, the world is yours. Young world, young world, young world. That's my man Slick Rick. If you don't know who Slick Rick is, if you don't got that album, go get it. That's my man. Um, I've been gone for a minute. Don't ask me what I've been doing. Basically, I just been BS, and I've been intending to make videos, or should I say, blogs, media content. I just got lazy. I mean, hey, certain things just take over your life. Video games, cutting grass, doing stuff. And I know y'all not listening to me anyway, so I just said, hey, bump it. Why keep making these posts? Because ain't nobody out there listening to me. I'm probably banned all over the internet by now. But this is what I did want to talk about. Because look, I had this topic on my mind for at least a year. And I said, when I set my website up, and I really get myself out there, I'm going to talk about this because I'm talking about the difference between blacks and Jews. Because there's a lot of similarities there, as far as the struggle that the Jewish group, which is not a racial group but a religious group, what they've gone through, and also a nationality. I guess if you're talking about Israel, you're from that region, but it's mostly um, associated with Judaism, and so it's a religious group, and then you're talking about blacks, which is a racial group. So that is one difference, but I'm not going to focus in on that for this conversation. Um, I just want to look at to see how one group went through the hell that it went through, specifically in Nazi Germany, and the other group went through the hell it went through. Um, and one group came out one way and another group came out another, at least here in the United States. I can't focus and talk about the Jewish situation throughout the diaspora, throughout the world. I don't know, so I can only speak on what I know, and that's here in the United States. So please forgive me if this conversation is limited to that particular region, because I choose not to speak on things that I really probably don't know anything about. But I'm kind of glad that I did hold off, and because this is the perfect moment. Look, because I'm gonna squeeze in this whole Nick Cannon thing. I find it very interesting, and I'm gonna say this: I'm not a Nick Cannon fan. Y'all heard me blast Nick Cannon for my quote unquote view of his colorism. Like so many other black celebrities suffer from. Black celebrities suffer from colorism. You heard that ignorant joker 50 Cent just making ignorant comments about black women, and we're going to talk about that. Look for that on this website, because that's a whole nother conversation. But that's going to be my perfect lead in this whole Nick Cannon thing. When I found out that Nick Cannon, and for all you people who don't know, Nick Cannon was basically dropped by Viacom, which is, I guess the major distributor of his content, and where he was employed due to some anti-Semitic comments that he made. So I decided to say, what in the hell did Nick Cannon say? I mean, did he use the H word like Jesse Jackson? Did he use the K word? And of course, that's going to look. We can't say their words. Everybody can say our words. We can't say that. Boy, them Jewish people will beat your tail 29,000 times if you say the H or the K word. But that's a whole different of a conversation, which we could work into this difference between blacks and Jews. But so I decided to look and see what in the world Nick Cannon said. And please forgive me if I didn't, because I'm gonna tell y'all, I try not to follow celebrities. Celebrities don't mean a damn thing to me, besides certain groups up in the '80s. But these celebrities don't mean anything to me, so I try not to follow news about what they eat today, what kind of diet they on, what their political views are. I really don't care. You are a celebrity. You're really basically nothing to me. I shouldn't say that, but hell, you made millions of dollars doing nothing. There are people out here living in the struggle, and the struggle is real. And you are a celebrity, and you get to get on TV and talk about politics and geophysicism and traveling to the moon, stars, and all the other quasars, and you are a celebrity. But because you are a celebrity, people value your opinion so much, and they think you know everything. So, but again, I'm ranting, I'm digressing. But I said, let me go check out what Nick Cannon actually said. And so, what I could find is a 4-minute clip. I found this 4-minute clip on YouTube. And, he's talking to Professor Griff. And Professor Griff, hey, look, I know Professor Griff. I knew him when he was in Public Enemy. I guess him and Public Enemy split. I'm just going to say it like that. They split. I don't have anything against Professor Griff. I don't have anything against Farrakhan. I love both them jokers. But the only thing that I could find that he said, well, let me just say what he said about white people first. Because he said, white people are lesser, because they lacked melanin. They were lesser. And, he tried to pick his words carefully. And, I can only suppose, I kind of know where he was trying to go with that, but I'm not going to do that here. And maybe that was, to me, that was probably the worst thing that he said. And even with that, it's just kind of like, okay, you said it. You probably could have worded it differently, and I know where he was trying to word it with, but he was, if you listen to the way he was talking, he was, you're trying to pick your words. And when you're trying to pick your words, when you're talking with a microphone in your face and a camera in your face, and you got very little bit of time to express and convey what you're trying to communicate, it's very hard. To me, that was probably the thing that I was like, well, I don't know if you wanted to say that particularly. But yeah, hey, that's that man's viewpoint. But when you're talking about this anti-Semitic portion of it, he basically just said that blacks were the original Jewish people, the original Jews. Jews is a religious group. Hey, how in the world does that get a man banned and loses all of the 29,000 jobs that Nick Cannon has? I'm being honest with you guys. I'm trying to figure that out. And that's why I'm talking about the power of the Jews within the media. Look, Michael Jackson said it. We've heard 1,000 other artists talk about the power of Jews in the entertainment industry. I'm not hating on them for that. If they are powerful, hey, black people, you need to learn something. You need to be like, well, how in the hell did y'all get this ruthless and this powerful? And how can I be this way? That's what I do. When I find out a person is getting money, I'll be like, hey man, how'd you get that money? Because I'm trying to figure out how to get it too. Or hey man, how'd you get this? How'd you get them abs? I'm trying to get that too. Y'all need to figure out how to get that power and how to execute it the way they execute it. So I'm not hating on Jewish people for having that power and for wielding that power, because blacks damn sure don't have the power, and they damn sure don't wield the power the way that the Jewish people do. But I am confused that could get a man his job lost. Now, I'm also going to make a blog about this whole Karen and people losing their job in this cancel culture, because man, F this cancel culture. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, black people, we reserve the right to say racist stuff out of our mouth. I shouldn't say racist, but prejudice, because black people can't be racist. Prejudice stuff out of our mouth. Because like I told y'all before, black people, we are 20-something years, 50-something years behind white people. We are not where they are just yet. We are not there where the rest of society is. Not psychological. I'm not talking about as far as your intelligence. I'm just talking about as far as your social experiences, as far as your economic experiences. You are nowhere near ready for integration and for all of this other stuff that white people are trying to progressively grab onto. You're not ready for it. If you do it, you're going to wind up with all these super babies, like I've been telling you. And you see, that's where we're going. But I'm digressing. But like I said, for a man to lose his job over what Nick Cannon said, and I'm trying to figure out, what was totally said that was very wrong. Because the reason why I'm going to say that is because of this. Now, I was taught by my father, and my father's by no means a militant man. My father, he worked in the government. He served his time in the military. But my father told me about, now this is what I've heard now, is that this is a derogatory term, but he told me about the Falashas. But now I think that when I looked it up, I think that they say that that's a derogatory term. But it's an Ethiopian sect of Jews. And we were taught that, the original Jewish people were black. That's what I was taught. I had the pleasure. Now, I'm going to say I'm not going to dive deep into, the discussion. I'm going to create another thread because I can go on for an hour on that, okay? And I would really have to go ahead and get my sources in my books because I haven't touched those books in probably 10 years, 15 years. So I would have to go back to I'm not going to speak on something that I'm just going to I can't freestyle that. I honestly cannot. But also, too, I had the pleasure of when I was in school at Howard University in the 90s, I had the pleasure of running into right across the street from Howard University was the Hebrew Israelite Co-op. And I had the pleasure and honor actually of hearing, matter of fact, speaking on the Howard University campus inside of the not the School of Divinity, but there's a church on Howard University. Look, I'm not a church person. I forget the name of that little church that sits on Howard University's campus. But Brother Ben Ami Ben Israel, who's now no longer with us on this earth, but Brother Ben Ami Ben Israel, who wrote God, the Black Man and Truth, which book I have upstairs, Yeshua, the Hebrew Messiah, or Jesus, the Christian Christ, which I also have upstairs. You listen to their teachings, and he is by no means like all these people want to start painting the Hebrew Israelites as being this radical group, borderline terrorist group. I've never seen that from the Hebrew Israelite community. Matter of fact, like I said, the Hebrew Israelite Co-op that was across the street from Howard University, there were white Hebrew Israelites in that group. I'm not making this up. I do not make this up. If you were in D.C. at Howard University or on Georgia Avenue around the 1990s, you knew about that co-op. That co-op now has since moved out to, I guess that's Capitol Heights, Maryland. It's in the PG County section. So it's about 20-something minutes away from, or I'll say about 30-something minutes away from where it originally started in Howard. But I think they're still there. But these are just some things that we were taught. And like I said, I'm not going to go into detail here because this is a conversation about the difference between blacks and Jews. But what I'm just trying to say is that if Nick Cannon's wrong, then some Jewish people need to have a conversation and a historical conversation and pull up some historical facts. You better come with some DNA and some other things that we can prove. I was telling my wife this the other day because a lot of people just assume that because the Egyptian region is populated with a bunch of light or like you want to say tan skinned people because Israel and the whole Middle East, quote unquote Middle East, is filled with a bunch of lighter skinned people, that those were the original people. And I told my wife this. Me and my wife was having a conversation about 2 weeks ago when this whole, this was about a whole different subject, but it ties into this, is that if you were an alien from a different galaxy, I don't know, nebula galaxy, I don't know, I'm just making up a galaxy, and you were coming from planet X, and I sent you out, and I said, we've identified this blue planet in this galaxy, this Milky Way galaxy, and I want you to go investigate it. And I want you to go find out about the people specifically on this continent right here, this North American continent. Come back and give me some information about those people. If people traveled from another galaxy and came to Earth, specifically North America, and North America includes Canada. It includes Canada. I do believe I'm not like I told y'all, my master's degree is in information systems and my bachelor's is in information systems. It is not in geography, but I do believe that Canada occupies the North American continent. But if people came here and they looked at Canada and they looked at the United States and they went back to the whatever galaxy they came from, they would automatically say, well, the indigenous people of America and of Canada, they have two countries there, and the indigenous people of the North American continent are white. That's what one would assume. If you've never been to planet Earth and you don't know the history of planet Earth, you would not assume that the native people were Native Americans or indigenous Americans. You just would not. This continent has been overrun by Europeans. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because the America and the North American continent, America and Toronto, is nothing but Egypt 2.0. Egypt was the original, the version 1.0. Now, there have been a lot of debates and discussions, specifically when they made that god-awful, stupid movie, Gods of Egypt, or whatever the heck that dumb movie was. I refuse to watch it. Because the first thing they always love to do is when they see somebody from Egypt, they love to throw in a bunch of white people running around Egypt. And then you have a whole bunch of other people talk about, well, the people of Egypt, because they always want to whitewash history. Well, the people of Egypt weren't black. The black people dominated the Egyptian society once Egypt started to fall. That's what they'll tell you. So basically, there's a PBS special on that called The Black Pharaohs. It can never be the pharaohs. They always have to say the black pharaohs, make it seem like, they're an aberration, they're an outlier. So they just automatically assume that Egypt, just because Kemet, and Kush with Nubia, since they were different societies that traded amongst each other, by the way, they just automatically assume that since they were separate, that they were not racially similar. That's what they assume. But no one ever says, well, the Vikings are different than the Europeans, or whatever you want to call the English people of whatever time that was when the Vikings were around. So they were different racially. No, you have different classes of ethnic groups of whites, such as, or should I say national group, like the Dutch, the Irish, the Vikings, then you had the English, I guess you call them English, but that's not to say that the Egyptians were not black. Just because they're a different society or had a different nation than the Nubians, the people from Kemet and the people from Kush. And you have to understand the reason why I say that Egypt was America 1.0, and the reason why I'm saying that too is because now they want to talk about this Sumeria or this Atlantis, lost kingdom of Atlantis. So maybe Atlantis did precede all of that, and they basically trying to say Atlantis was the original kingdom. And again, those people were white. So there's never been a black person that's done anything in history that's been fantastic at all. That's just another side note that I wanted to throw in. But when you look at Egypt was the center of the world back in those days, just like America is the center of the world. America is the center of the world. White people, of course, forced the Native Americans basically to damn near, Wyoming, South Dakota. They just basically forced the Native Americans. There's probably, maybe 100,000 of them jokers left. I'm exaggerating. I don't know how many are left, but the Europeans, Caucasians have come here. They've created a center of excellence, and they have created a center of excellence. I'm not taking that away from white people. We'll never do that. They've done it here, and they've done it in Canada. They've done it in Europe. But here in America, they've created a center of excellence as far as for civilization, technology, so forth. And now what you see everyone flocking here to the United States. So you see Asians flocking here. Asian people are sending their kids over here. And them Asian, I'm telling you, Chinese people got money. Not all. Y'all going to say, yeah, man, you prejudiced. Political brown kids just prejudiced. No, but they sending them kids over here, buying up homes in California. And they're sending their kids here to get educated. Because they say America has great institutions. Go there and learn. Africans, Nigerians are doing the same thing. These Nigerians coming over here with money or just coming over here, putting their kids. And then, again, there are poor Asians coming and migrating here. There are poor Africans coming here migrating because they're escaping whatever poverty that they have in China or Africa. You have Europeans from England migrating here because it's a center of excellence, and they're escaping whatever they're escaping. Russians are doing the same thing. People of, and definitely people from Latin America and the Caribbean. You are not a race, by the way. You are just a nationality. Let's get that right. And then those people are coming here, migrating here too, legally, illegally, and whatever. But then you're going to have this mixing of cultures here. And you can see the people, they'll tell you in America that pretty soon by the year XX, that the predominant group is going to be people of color. But the reason why I'm bringing all of that up is because all of this already occurred in Egypt. And that's how Egypt lightened, because Egypt was the center of excellence. You have to understand, Egypt was America 1.0. It was the center of excellence. And they try to strip away, and they want to deny the fact that these people were black. But then when this people had this center of excellence, the Greeks came over to Egypt because the Greeks said, hey, man, there's something going on over here. There's something happening here that is fantastic. They came here. We know the Romans came here, right? The Assyrians came. When I say here, I'm talking about Egypt. Or should I say there? The Assyrians, the Romans, the Greeks, everyone came there. Even more Nubians came there. More black people came there. And then you're going to have this over hundreds of years. That you got to understand, this took place thousands of years ago. So, of course, those people have lightened up and they have this particular look to them over there now. So I'm bringing all that up to say this is that who's to say that did not happen in Israel, Palestine, in that whole Middle East region? But my thing is, have a conversation about it. I know I've rambled on, and I know probably y'all like, what in the hell does this have to do with the difference between blacks and Jews? I'm working my way into that. I just wanted to kind of provide that context for the Nick Cannon discussion, because, I personally think that he erred and apologized. And I understand capitalism will make you apologize. Capitalism will make you do all kinds of things. You will hold yourself out for capitalism. And a lot of people do. Because you have to be able to afford to feed yourself, clothe yourself, buy cars, buy jewelry, buy homes. A lot of people get caught up in materialistic stuff. Excuse me, my voice is just cracking. But people get caught up in the materialistic stuff. So people do certain things. And Nick Cannon, of course, when you're in the celebrity spotlight now, everybody's probably mad at you for what you said. You probably feel embarrassed. I don't know what he's going through. Hey, that's that man's business. But I'm just kind of confused as to how this whole anti-Semitism thing took off and how he got branded that. But it just goes to show you, people should have waken up and say, hey, that's the power of the Jewish community. That's the power the Jews have, that they can shut something down. Just a simple conversation for someone just insinuating that Jewish people that the European Jews are not the original Jews, because that's what they are. They're Caucasian Jews. They're Caucasian Jews. Jews are not a race. It is not a race of people. It is. Man, my throat is just cracking up this morning. Jesus Christ. But Jews are not a race of people. They are a religious group. They can be considered a nationality because of their country of origin, but they are not a racial group. So who's to say that they are the original Jews? Who's to say that they're not? But have the discussion. But it should not be something that should be branded as anti-Semitic, nor should it be branded as something as to get a man fired and lose their job and livelihood over. And again, I will defend these Kens and Karens too as a people. I hate when people give people dumbass names, Kens and Karens. That's so dumb. But these white people, these good Christian white people out here losing their jobs over saying some crazy stuff. Look, man, people pulling guns on people like that. One white lady pulled a gun on this black mother and her daughter in a parking lot. You need to lose your job, because you can't be pulling guns on people. I know people love guns, but guns are not toys. Guns are not toys. And just because you think you know how to use a firearm, if that firearm had actually slipped up and gone off and somebody had died, then you have a problem. But I will defend people who, and trust me, I hate to hear dumb stuff being said on television. But I'm not going to go out here and advocate for people to start losing their jobs over saying stuff. They have the right to say what they want to say, because I want to defend my right to say whatever the heck I want to say. And I want to be able to come into my workplace the next day and be like, yeah, what's up? And people can look at me crazy all they want. They can be mad at me for saying what I said. But the bottom line is you better still cut that check at the end of the week or every other week. You better cut my damn check. Okay, so I know y'all are like, this fool done rambled on and done gave me. I did not come here to listen to all of that, but I gave it to you anyway. Okay, so you listen to me. I appreciate you sitting through that. Maybe that's why I don't have that many people listening to me, because I babble on too much. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Here's the difference between blacks and Jews. I do really want to talk about this because I'm just looking to say, how does one religious group, nationality, come out of their experience in even though it happened in Germany, how do they come out of such a atrocious experience and, they do okay and they thrive? And then how does another group go through not a similar experience, but a different experience, powerful experience, and they still stuck in the rut that they're stuck in? First, I think we need to put some context behind that. The big difference that I want people to understand, the difference between blacks and Jews, is this. And please, I know Jewish people, I know y'all love canceling people for saying something. Please don't take this personal or don't take it as anti-Semitic, but I'm just basically making a statement, and it is a statement of fact. The Jewish experience number one, the difference is one experience happened in Germany, one experience happened in America. That's a big difference because Americans can separate themselves from the Jewish atrocity, from the Holocaust. Americans can separate themselves and say, well, we didn't do that. That was perpetuated by the Germans. Those German Caucasians, they're the ones who did that. That nationality did that. But America, we don't do that type of stuff, and we didn't do that to you. So that's one, because the Jewish atrocities occurred in Germany. The black atrocities occurred really throughout the world, probably except from Asia. I may be wrong on that. Like I said, I'm not a historian, but the one thing you don't hear about black slaves in Asia. They may have, I don't know, but you don't hear about it. You hear about it in Europe, you hear about it in the Americas, you hear about it in Portugal, damn sure. They were the Portuguese and the Dutch. They were just ridiculous group of people. You hear about it even on the African continent with apartheid and just colonization of Africa and the African resource. You hear about it throughout all of the islands. The only place you really didn't hear about slavery, I would say, is probably Australia and China. And I'm just freestyling. I'm just thinking this off the top of my dome. I'm just thinking about it off the top of the dome. That's the only places that you don't hear about it. So that's one of the big differences. One of the differences is, and I'm not discounting anything. I'm not trying to say one experience was worse than the other. So let's not get into who suffered worse. But I'm just looking at the facts. One experience, at least as far as my knowledge, and please excuse my errors and omissions and or ignorance on the depth and the spread of the Jewish suffering, because mind the way, let me just point this out too. When Jews did come to America, Jews were persecuted. When they could identify Jews through certain looks, the curly hair, the nose, there was a certain look to Jews. I do believe, and please forgive me for my ignorance if I'm saying something wrong, but when Jewish people came to America, they didn't have it all that great. There was some kind of persecution, but through sometimes a slight change of a name from a Jewish name could kind of get you over, could make you pass, quote unquote, pass for just being a European, just being a Caucasian. So, and particularly being a European Caucasian, as opposed to being a Jewish Caucasian. So let me just kind of add that in, that the Jewish people did have some kind of discriminations against them here in the Americas when they came here, but there were certain means for them to pass. But it wasn't like the difference is when you're talking about America, just the system of slavery was more of a psychological thing. It was more of just oppressing someone for hundreds and hundreds of years. The Jewish experience in Germany, I really kind of don't want to even speak on timelines because I really don't know. But if you look at it, it was more or less like a quick extermination. It was like, let's kill them. And I'm not trying to say that that is a good thing at all. But I'm trying to say that, and they did suffer psychological damage because no one could be trapped in those conditions, stuck in those caves. But what I'm just trying to say is it was more of a long-term conditioning, reprogramming of black thought to make them think that they were inferior beings. When you carry that on for 400 and 500 or 300 and 400 years, as opposed to, I don't know what the terms of the Jewish suffering was as far as from a mental state, but it was more of a physical murder with Jews. So that's one of the big differences. So I just wanted to kind of set that context, because what I'm going to talk about from now on is going to be just looking at some things that observations that I've made. And one is that when you look at the Jewish community, they originally had some kosher laws, and I'm pretty sure those kosher laws are still in place. Again, I'm not going to speak on too much of what I don't know, but what I do know is that with those kosher laws, there were certain foods that had to be throughout the supply chain and throughout its processing phase. Those foods had to be prepared by Jews, thus allowing the money to recirculate or circulate between the Jewish community. That is a part of something being branded as kosher. Now, of course, there are a lot of other aspects of kosher, because it's about, it's about the religion and the religious aspects being infused into the processing of foods. It goes to, I think, the Torah, it aligns with the Torah about certain things you can eat, how you're supposed to eat it. I do believe it's probably Deuteronomy and Leviticus. Don't get me the line. I'm not a Bible expert, but I would say go look it up. I'm just going to redirect you to the Bible and or to research kosher. But a part of kosher laws that I want to focus on is to say that, hey, look, these certain foods have to be processed, through Jewish channels. And that's how it's going to be certified as being kosher. By doing so, you allow that money to circulate between other Jewish businesses. And that allows individuals to sustain themselves. Where are your black laws at? You have no black supply chains. I'm going to tell you this too. If you even look at Asia, I'm going to inject the Asia. I know this is about the difference between blacks and Jews, but when you look at the Asians and how they dominate the beauty industry, and you used to hear a lot about black people complaining about like certain Asian vendors won't sell them certain things because they keep that within their supply chain, and it goes all the way to the retail stores. They're like, our Asian retail stores get this, and we're not going to sell you, or we're going to make it hard for other people to get this because this is an industry that we want to control. Black people, you don't control anything. You have nothing. I'm just being honest with you. You have nothing. You have no standard for circulation of black wealth through your community. You just don't. Let me look at another aspect of the difference between blacks and Jews. Blacks willfully allow other races to use the N-word while pervasively using it themselves. I mean, think about this. In this, again, the reason why I brought up that original foundational pretext that I put down is because blacks throughout 400 years have been conditioned to use the N-word, to call each other the N-word. That's what we do. I do it. I am no exception. I try my best to not use that word, but sometimes but I have to literally consciously think about not using it. See, that's the difference. Some groups, you have to consciously think about using a word. Like, should I say this? Yeah, I'm going to say it. But with black people, it's just a term of, I'm going to use that word. And we've used it so much and we can't even unuse it. So now we try to justify it by doing stupid stuff like saying, well, this is N-I-G-G-A. There's a difference between N-I-G-G-A and an N-I-G-G-E-R. And you have to ask yourself, well, idiot, what's the difference? That's when you got to say N-word, what's the difference? Because you sound crazy right now. We try to justify our inability to use the word by trying to change the definition of the word. That is foolish. It is foolishness. And again, I am a part of the problem. I try not to, because I know that sometimes when I use it and my little kids are around and I say, bang. And sometimes I'll catch myself after I said it and I say, man, I said that in front of my kid. And then how you think they adopt the word? This is how things go on and on. We're all a part of the problem. You look at this fool Jay-Z. I'm telling you, Jay-Z, I don't know what to say about this dude. I swear to God, I don't. Him and I guess, you know, you got to look at the company that you keep. You hanging around Kanye West, a.k.a. Sambo West. I like to call him Sambo West. I like to call a few people Sambo. Sambo West. You know, remember that time they were over in, I think, Paris, and Gwyneth Paltrow tweeted out N-word in Paris. She tweeted out the word. And you didn't hear Jay-Z or Kanye say anything. And then also, too, you hear them in certain interviews say they don't have a problem with other people using the word. Even Nas says crazy stuff like that. And see, that's another thing, problem, too, with black people is our leaders are the most foolish individuals ever. We don't respect anybody like Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton or, you know, any of the great thinkers. You know, Cornel West and them, they're in the background. The people that we listen to and throw microphones in front of us, dumbass Lil Wayne, he's probably the most ignorant person you'll ever see walking planet Earth. Dumb Jay-Z, he has a direct line to the president or the former president of the United States of America just because he has money. He doesn't have any intelligence. I shouldn't say that, but I did. But you have how do you have the governor of Minnesota's telephone? I'm still trying to figure that one out. Like, who are you to just be able to say, I'm going to call the governor of Minnesota and figure out what's going on, and we're going to straighten this out? And like that, is that supposed to make me feel better that you are calling to try and solve our problems? Sometimes leave stuff to people who have the expertise and the intellect to handle these things. But we we pervasively put the N-word in our music. You even got singers, The Dream. I even heard that fool Sean Stockman from Boyz II Men, he sung the N-word. You got girls singing the N-word. This is R&B music. I'm not talking about rap. I'm talking about R&B. It's just pervasive in our lexicon. And then you get mad when other people sing the lyrics to your song that's littered with the N-word. What are they supposed to do? Buy the unfiltered version? Come on, people. We got to get it together. Terrence Howard. Look at this fool. He dating that Asian woman, so no surprise with Terrence Howard. And nothing against Asian people, but she ain't black. So sometimes you can tell a person by the company they keep. Terrence Howard, he wanted to use the N-word on the show Empire to make it authentic. See, it's not real if black people ain't around degrading themselves, calling each other you black, tar baby, black, and using all kind of just, you know, it's not real to show a person without using derogatory, ignorant words. Instead, in order to make his show real, his shows when the show was out, let me just say this, when the show first started, it was one of the most popular shows on Fox, one of the most popular shows on network television. And he just wants to say, let's kick it up a notch. Let's make it real. Let's kick it up a notch. This is the ignorance that I'm talking about. You're not going to go out here in the world. You see what Nick Cannon, this is the reason why I brought Nick Cannon up. You see, Nick Cannon just said, he just hinted that, hey, you know, Jewish people aren't the original, black people are the original. He just hinted that and lost his job. Could you imagine if he had thrown in a few H's and a few K's? If y'all don't know what the derogatory H word or K word is for Jewish people, look it up. I can't repeat that on here. I'm not going to have a bunch of Jewish people coming and whooping my tail, be beating me up all throughout this house. I'm not going to have it. I'm not that good of a fighter. So, I mean, but what I'm trying to say, they don't tolerate that. No other race tolerates this. We're the only race that tolerates this. But again, it goes back to slavery. All of this stuff goes back to the white man's error in giving you psychological help when you came out of slavery. That was his error. He didn't have an exit plan for you. His exit plan was you free. That was his exit plan. You free. Go do something. And you said, do what? He said, I don't know. I don't know N-word. Go do something. Pick up a stick. Pick up a mop. He didn't have a plan for you. He just freed you. And he didn't say, damn, we did a lot of psychological damage to that joker. He needs some psychological help. Everybody wants to talk about mental health, and you have none. Got a whole bunch of black people walking around here thinking that they are mentally healthy, and they are not. They don't love themselves. Lil Wayne hates a black woman. He is probably the worst thing walking. I swear I could say some harsher things on this blog, but people be like, man, see you advocating for people's deaths. And I can't, I'm not going to do that on this radio, not on this talk. But there are certain people, man, in your community that are just counterproductive to your whole movement. Just counterproductive. Lil Wayne, Terry Crews, Jason Whitlock. They're Clarence Tom. Just counterproductive to your whole movement. I'm just being honest with you. Let's look at another thing here. Let me move on. I don't talk enough. Another difference between blacks and Jews. Blacks, they willfully come out to attack other blacks and try to defend white people. I don't think I've ever seen Jewish people. I've never seen this on television, actually. I'm not trying to say that it doesn't exist. I'm not trying to say this doesn't exist because, look, again, like I tell you, I can only speak on what I see. I can only speak on my experience. That's what I want you guys to understand here. I can only speak on my experience here. But I've never seen a Jewish person get on television and defend a Nazi flag. I've never seen it. I've never seen them say, well, it's a part of our heritage and it's a part of it. I've never seen that. I've never seen a Jewish person get on television and defend anything that was related to Nazism or related to what the Germans did during that time. I've just not seen it. I'm not trying to say it doesn't exist. It may exist. It might. I don't know. But I just have not seen it. Whereas I've seen Terry Crews get on TV, and I call him Sambo Cruz now. His name is Sambo Cruz. I've seen him get on TV and just willfully just want to tear apart black movements and always trying to say, let's not beat up on white people. Well, y'all, we treating these white people so bad. Black people love defending, like the white man can't defend himself. He got enough money. He makes way more money than you do as far as the net worth of white people is compared to blacks. He has a better resource. He's in a better situation. And now he gets in a little bit of trouble. And you want to go run into their aid. Like they can't defend themselves. I'm telling you, Sambo Whitlock, a.k.a. Jason Whitlock. I tell you, I ain't even going to talk about him. Just go read up on. I ain't even going to talk about Sambo Barkley, a.k.a. Charles Barkley. Or Charles Barkley, a.k.a. Sambo Barkley. And Jason Whitlock, a.k.a. Sambo Whitlock. That's why I call them. They will get on TV. And Whoopi Goldberg, too. These people just are complicit in loving to help out white people and loving to point out deficiencies in black people. They just do. I remember this. You probably can't even find this anymore. I think it was when Kendrick Lamar first came out, and he came out with that album. That first album that he had was very nice. First album that he had was very nice. I like To Pimp a Butterfly even more because it was more political. But the first album he had was it was conscious. It was a social conscious element to it. It just didn't have the right social conscious element because, and here's where the homosexuals are going to get mad at me. Because he wasn't talking about gay people. That first album, he didn't defend or advocate or, stand up for gay issues. So They gave the Grammy to Macklemore because Macklemore made that song about, he was having thoughts of kissing a girl. You're not saying that he personally, but he made a song about, having homosexual thoughts or tendencies. I do believe. I'm just summarizing what the song was. I don't listen to Macklemore, but I remember them playing the song on the radio, and because he made a song that. And this, I'm telling you, the gay movement, the homosexual movement is very, very hot right now. And homosexuals have a lot of power too within the entertainment industry. They have a lot of power. Ask half of them dance hall artists, them reggae artists who went on TV and said something about negative about gay people and they're no longer around. You haven't seen Shabba Ranks in 9,000 years. I saw the one interview, I think he did it over in the UK, said something negative about gay people. He ain't been on TV since. I'm telling y'all. I don't make this stuff up. But Macklemore went out and made a song about gay people, and I guess it just took off, and maybe every gay person in America just was like, oh, this is beautiful. And that's your opinion, But they loved it. I liked Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar speaks to what I like to listen to. He was talking about basically gang issues in in his part of the neighborhood where he's from. That first album was, and it was also talking about other socially conscious issues in there as well. There was alcohol. Talking about of course the song about alcoholism. Swimming pools and so forth. But, excuse me, my voice is just messed up this morning. But the point that I'm making is they gave the rap album of the year to Macklemore, again, a white artist. And here again, this is where we have white people with their platforms getting to pick and choose and basically dominating our culture. Here it is, you have Macklemore coming in, an interloper to the culture, and white people who probably know nothing about rap music, just saying, yeah, let's give the Grammy to him. He's the better artist. And they get to dictate and determine who our artists are, who our hip hop artists are, who deserves a Grammy and who deserves accolades and who's the best. They're determining that. That's pretty sad. But again, Macklemore beats out Kendrick Lamar. I know I was upset about it. I was irritated, but I know how the Grammys operate, so I'm not surprised. People upset about it. I think this was on CNN. It was on CNN, I do. But if it wasn't on CNN, then it was on MSNBC, because that's the only two news shows I really was listening to at the time. And they had a bunch of black people on this panel, and they had black people up there defending Macklemore getting the Grammy and talking about Kendrick Lamar needs to step up and make better socially conscious records. And, basically make records for gay people and all this other stuff. And I was just like, what in the hell? So what? If you're not making a record supporting gayness and, the LGBTQ community and homosexuality, you don't deserve a Grammy? And that's the only basis that you're giving Macklemore a Grammy for? The Grammy should be on, to me, lyrical content. It should be, I guess, on the beat. The composition of the song. It shouldn't be on whether you're speaking about, homosexuality, whether you're speaking about blackness, whether you're speaking about Christianity or Judaism or Islam. It shouldn't be on any of that. It should just be on like, hey, how well constructed are the lyrics? How well constructed is the music? To me, that's just my personal opinion. But you always have some black person willing to defend and come to the aid of white people. Here's another issue, too, between the difference between blacks and Jews. Why? This is just my own personal opinion. Jews, no matter what, they don't care how much time has passed. Jews seek persecution of their oppressors and or assailants regardless of the length of time that has passed by. Black people look to forgive and pardon their oppressors. That's just the honest fact. And I think that is a very critical one. I kind of say that one for the middle. I really did. Because a Jewish person, now mind you, we're getting so far removed from World War II that everybody probably from that time period is just about dead, or they are they're dead or dying. And I hate to say that. You wish everybody a long, happy, healthy life, but I mean, World War II was a long time ago. But Jewish people used to spot a Nazi person in their 80s, 75 years of age, walking down the street, 83 years of age. And they said, man, I just spotted that joker down in Miami Beach. That joker done left from Germany. He worked at the concentration camp that I was in. And they would call the hate crime, whoever handles that division of, the Nazi hate crimes, they would call it and say, hey, look, you need to go to jail. And then person be like, I'm 80. The only thing I did, look, I just worked the front desk. I worked the front desk at the, I was in the military. But I didn't kill anybody. I just worked the front desk. And they be like, nope, you need to go to jail. And look, I'm not trying to say this is good, bad, right, or wrong. So don't judge me for saying, my thought. I'm just basically letting you know that Jewish people will say, hey, look, you need to go to jail. You worked there. You were a part of the Nazi concentration camps. I don't care if you're 97 years of age. You're going to finish out the rest of your life in jail. That's what Jewish people do. Black people, we don't care. We just don't care about how people treat us. We really don't. I'm about to talk about Nelson Mandela. I'm not going to talk too much about Nelson Mandela, but I know y'all going to get mad at me. But one of the unfortunate things that Nelson Mandela did was that truth and reconciliation moment that he had. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said, I'm not beating up Nelson Mandela. I'm just pointing out, I think, a flaw, something that I consider to be a flaw. Because white people always love to tell you, yeah, be forgiving. White people love it when black people are forgiving. But they will prosecute you to the end of the earth. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Because Nelson Mandela had this, if you don't know what the truth and reconciliation moment is, go look it up. But basically just allowing people to confess, what parts, how complicit they were in apartheid and atrocities that were committed during that time. He just wanted to have a moment where people got things out on the table and they moved forward. I'm telling you, ask America how truthful and conciliatory that they are when it comes to Assata Shakur. Ask Assata Shakur. I just heard that fool Donald Trump. He's a fool. This was 2018, maybe? 2018? He went down to Florida because he knew that's who would want to hear it. And he went down to the Florida, and I think he was in Florida, and he went down there. I think he was in Miami specifically, talking to all them Cubans, and he was talking about, we want to bring Joanne Chesimard, a.k.a. Assata Shakur. We want to bring her out of Cuba. We want to get her extradited back to the United States so she can stand trial. If anybody doesn't know, I'm just going to give you the quick rundown of what happened. I'm not even going to talk about what totally happened. But basically, Assata Shakur, who is linked to Tupac, by the way, I think like a aunt to a, step, kind of like not aunt by blood, but, kind of like a, we always call people who are close to you or close to your family aunts and uncles, but they do have a relationship, and she knew him, I guess, as a child, and definitely knew his mother. But you understand that during segregation and during those times when Black Panther Party was out, a lot of white people, as you can see, you plainly see it on television, where white people were brutally beating up black people. Police had the authority to sick dogs and water hoses and do certain kind of things to black people. And Assata Shakur, apparently, I guess their car was pulled over one night. Something happened. I don't know what the heck happened. And a white officer wound up losing his life. At some point in time, I think that white people need to say, hey, look, we understand that during the 50s and 60s, we treated you guys like crap. And we know something happened during that moment, but we need to move forward. And we're willing to exonerate her, Assata Shakur, and let her move on with her life. We move on with our life. And we need to have that truth and reconciliation moment. We're not trying to say that the white officer was guilty of police brutality. We're not trying to say that she is guilty of murder. We're just but we understand that the racial climate during that time and the way that we treated black people during that time was not really acceptable. So we need to have some kind of moment where we move on from her and we're not willing to prosecute her. We have that truth and reconciliation moment. They don't want to have that because when black people do something wrong, they're going to prosecute you. Look at Bill Cosby. Y'all like, man, this dude, political brown kid, is just off his mind. But I'm going to say it. Look at Bill Cosby. I'm not trying to say what he did was right or wrong. I wasn't there. I was not there. But the one thing that I will say is this. This is the one thing that I will say about it. I know the last woman who really prosecuted him, she was still calling him up for tickets and, working or interacting with him. So you couldn't have been too traumatized by him. I'm not trying to say what he did was right or wrong. I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't say he committed a crime. I can't say he did not commit a crime. But I'm going off a hypothetical. If he did commit a crime against you, why are you still interacting with this man? Why are you still asking him for promotional favor or financial favors and or industry professional favors? Why are you still doing that? And then now, all of a sudden, you got to axe the grind because this Me Too movement popped off, and now this joker's sitting in jail. Here it is. What's Donald Trump's lawyer? I forget the guy's name. The guy in New York. They let him out of jail, at least temporarily. Then they put him back in jail because he refused to say he wouldn't write that book. But here it is. They let this man out of jail for fear of COVID. And he's probably like in his 50s, maybe. He looks like he's in his 50s. Maybe he's in his 60s. But he looks like he's in relatively good shape. And they let him out of jail saying, hey, look, we can't keep you in jail. COVID-19 is running rampant. And here Bill Cosby is 80-something years of age, half blind in one eye. And they saying, hey, look, they ain't even thought about letting this joke out of jail. Y'all better think about that. Hey, look, and I'll tell you, I'm not the biggest Bill Cosby fan at all. I am somewhat of a fan of, some of the things that he's done. But, I just thought, I can't watch the Cosby Show now. Cosby Show, to me, it's not timeless. A Different World is timeless. But things that he's done in the black community, we can talk about all that other stuff later. But Bill Cosby, that whole pound cake speech and that whole going on the Chitlin circuit, talking about the deficiencies of black people when you had deficiencies in your own family, in your own life. I was hot over that one. That's what I was mad at. But I'm going to say this again. Here it is. White people aren't forgiven against you, but you were so forgiven against white people. Black people hate to see white people pay for their crimes. Seriously, because I'm going to bring this up. That black bird watcher in New York, Christian Cooper, what a failure of a human being he is. Just a total failure. And I'm not talking about professionally. I don't know what he does. I'm just talking about just from a black social human being perspective. Just a failure. He's a failure. And anybody that supports this fool, you're a failure too. I'm just going to say it like that. If anybody's familiar, let me just give you the rundown. This black bird watcher named Christian Cooper, him and this white lady got into it. I'm just giving you high level. You can look the story up yourself. Look up black bird watcher Christian Cooper. He's in the woods in New York City. I think what's the park? I forget that park. Central Park, maybe. He's in the park watching birds. That's failure number one. Nah, I can't say that because I've lately been taking walks on trails and you see a nice little small bird and they're pretty. So, just birds just come in so many different colors. But so I'm not going to call him, but he's in the woods watching birds and some white lady comes along. She doesn't have her dog on a leash. He tells her, you need to properly leash that dog. They basically have a disagreement over the dog being properly leashed. The disagreement must have escalated because she pulls out her phone, calls the police, and basically says, hey, look, there's a black man threatening me bodily harm. Basically, she like, y'all need to come get this black man because he is threatening me. And I think basically hinting at he's going to do her bodily harm. You think about what that phone call would have gotten that man. If they had come to that woods, they could have potentially killed him, potentially beat him, or at least assaulted him, or at least detained him for no reason at all. And she's the one with her other dog on the lead. She knew the climate. She knows what's going on in America. She knows how black men particularly are being killed in interactions and encounters with the police. And she calls and makes a false claim against that man. And she's the one in the wrong. That's the whole thing. I can see if she was in the right, but you in the wrong. You don't even have your dog leashed, and you want to do what you want to do. He calls you out on it. You call the police and basically say that he's going to do you harm. And so she lost her job, apparently. The police prosecutes her. This dumb black joker refuses to cooperate with the police and is basically like he wants her to get off. He writes an op-ed. I don't even know what an op-ed stands for. I'm assuming something editorial, operative editor. I have no idea what an op-ed. I've always wanted to know why in the hell do they say op-ed? I told y'all my degree is not in journalism. My degrees are in management and information technology. But he writes an op-ed in the Washington Post, my hometown paper, by the way. Go DC. I'm from the district. We don't say Washington, D.C. We from the district, baby. We from the district. Writes an op-ed. He brings his New York self to my Washington, D.C. paper. And here, I'm just going to give you a few quotes that he says in this paper. The article's title, the title of the article that he wrote was like, prosecuting this lady, Amy Cooper, lets white people off the hook. I'm like, what? I'm confused. I'm like, am I on PCP? Do I not understand this? So here's a few quotes from this article. He says, I think it's a mistake to focus on this one individual. He wrote in the opinion piece. So in the Monday Washington Post, it was some Monday. I don't know what Monday it was. Then he says, the important thing the incident highlights is the long-standing, deep-seated racial bias against black and brown folk that permeates the United States. I'm ambivalent about the prosecution and have chosen not to aid the investigation. Focusing on charging Amy Cooper lets white people off the hook from all that. Considering that Amy Cooper has already lost her job and her reputation, it's hard to see what it is to be gained by a criminal charge aside from the upholding of principle. I must err on the side of compassion and choose not to be involved with the prosecution. So, I mean, if you guys want to re-listen back to that, you got to rewind it, listen to it slow. I can't slow down and read this. But think about this. This fool is basically saying, well, she's already lost her job and her reputation. Do you know that? How do you know she's lost her reputation? You don't know that. She lost her reputation with you. But maybe in the people who in the circles that she cares about, she hasn't lost her reputation. How do you know she's lost her job? She has lost a job, but who's to say that she hasn't gotten a better job? Trust me, I know white people like that. I've known a white girl. She got fired for using her corporate credit card. They just said, we'll give you 3 months to find another job. This is no lie. Excuse me, y'all. I must got COVID-19. This girl goes out, and I swear to God, within 3 months, she got another job making more money. So who's to say that this white woman right here, whatever her name is, Amy Cooper, didn't go out and get another better job? Somebody probably say, you don't know what kind of connections this lady has. The only way that you can make sure that her little life is messed up is to prosecute her. Make her spend 30 days in jail in the county. Up in Rikers, whatever jails y'all have in New York City. Make her spend 30 days there and maybe she'll rethink her life. Put her on timeout. Black people, we are the most ignorant, we are just the most compassionate fools on planet Earth. And I see how slavery got us. I honestly do. Because I encounter just foolishness from black people, and this is one of them. Here's a woman that was about to have the cops come whoop your ass and take you off the jail. Do you think she would not press them charges? And here you are. Well, she lost her job. I ain't going to cooperate with no popo. Man, forget the popo. I ain't cooperating with them. Okay. All right, you sound like a fool. This dude sounds like a fool. Christian Cooper is his name. Total fool, boy. New Yorkers, I'm losing respect for New Yorkers. I swear to God, I'm from Washington, D.C., and I am losing respect for you guys. Please don't say please say he's from Manhattan. Please don't say he's from Harlem or the Bronx or Brooklyn or Queens. Well, Harlem is in Manhattan. But please say he's from Manhattan, not Harlem, Manhattan. I swear to God. Boy, black people, we can be some dumb people. Here it is. He don't want to prosecute. She would have prosecuted his ass. Trust me. You can believe that. Look, here's another thing. Look at this white lady. I'm just going to squeeze this one in real quick. I have to squeeze this one in while it's on my mind. Here it is. What's that young boy that got killed? I can't even think of his name. Good God. I can't think of his name. Got killed in what, the 1950s, 60s? Whistling at a white woman. Y'all know, my brain is slipping my mind this morning. I'm getting old. Man, I can't think of his name. Name keep popping in my mind is Mega Evans, and I know it's not Mega Evans. I know who Mega Evans is. I swear to God, I can't picture this man's name. But Mega Evans' name keep popping in my mind, and it's replacing the name that should go there. So don't take this as not Mega Evans. I know Mega Evans, civil rights leader. I know how he passed. So get that out your mind. But let me not focus on, maybe the name will come to me as I start talking. But here's a young black kid whistling at a white woman. Or so they say. He gets murdered, brutally murdered. His mother said, no, we're going to have an open casket because I want y'all to see what they done did to my baby. He was from Chicago, went down there to Mississippi, somewhere in the South. Got murdered. Didn't make it through the summer, unfortunately. Swear to God, it's ticking me off that I can't remember his name, but I don't know how that happened. He's probably one of the biggest victims of just lynchings, Southern lynchings, but it'll come to me probably after I'm halfway through the segment. But here it is, this white lady gonna say, well, I may have lied. She's still alive, by the way. I think she's still alive. I know she was still alive a couple of years ago. And here she admits to her daughter, I may have lied and got that boy killed. I'm not going to say she said that. She got him killed. But she said, I may have lied and stretched the truth. Because she hated black people. And here it is. She caused this man to lose his life. And nobody wants to see this 80-year-old white woman, good Christian white woman, in jail. Emmett Till. That was his name. Emmett Till. I don't know how in the hell Emmett Till's name done slipped my mind. I'll tell you, it's too early in the morning for me to be doing this stuff. It is far too early in the morning. I'm coughing, throat all messed up, can't remember anything. I don't know whether it's because of my age or what. But Emmett Till. And here she is out here running around telling lies on people to get people killed. Not only killed, but brutally beaten. Think about the beating that this man went through. This young man. Think about how scared he was for himself, going through what he was going through, thinking about his family, knowing that his life is coming to an end, all because of a lie. A good Christian white woman lie. And this man loses his life. She can sit up here and admit it, mind you, in 2000 and whatever, 2000 and X, 2KX, she admits that she, basically was complicit in his demise. She doesn't go to jail. She's not doing any jail time. Everybody, she's 84. Everybody makes up excuses for white people. She's 84. Here, Bill Cosby is 80-something years of age, blind in one eye, and his perpetrator, at least one of them, I can't speak for the rest of them because it was a lot of them, but at least one of them still making phone contact with him, still making contact with him for professional purposes so she can get what she want. So, I'm trying to figure out how traumatized you are. I'm not trying to deny her experience, but here it is. You running around and Bill Cosby got to go to jail. COVID come. They done released Donald Trump's lawyer from jail. He looked like he 50 something. He may be early 60s, but he looks perfectly young and healthy to me. They released him from jail because, fear of COVID. And here Bill Cosby is 80 something years of age, probably the highest risk person. And he has to sit in the jail cell, and they ain't even thinking about letting him go. And you don't see any black people seeing anything wrong with that. I have a problem with that. I'm not going to lie. So I just had to get that one. I had to squeeze that Emmett Till fact in there because it plays a part to this. But then also, look, this is what I'm talking about when I say black people are just so forgiving. Well, I'm telling you, Jewish people, they don't let stuff slide. They're not letting the Nazis slide, and they shouldn't. Don't get it twisted. I'm not coming down and being negative on Jewish people at all. I know some of you people and some of you Jewish people may say, "Oh, you anti-Semitic." Y'all can go ahead with all that anti-Semitic crying stuff. I'm just pointing out facts. Y'all spotted a Nazi walking down the street. He could have turned his life around. Catholic priest now, most outstanding citizen in the world. Y'all gonna say no, but we remember what you did. You got to pay for that. Black people don't hold anybody accountable. But think about this Amber Geiger girl. Amber Geiger, white female, good Christian white woman, white female police officer, claims. This is what she claims, and maybe she was right, maybe she was drinking, maybe she just had a bad day. Sometimes people do. I'm telling you, at my job, there's been times I got off on the wrong floor and then strolled halfway through the building and realized this ain't my daggone floor, but it's something about that floor that triggers my memory to say this don't look right. And then I'll be like, dang, let me get off and going back, and I got to go on up another 2 or 3 flights. But here she is, Amber Geiger, white Christian woman, police officer, gets off on the wrong floor of her apartment building and then walks into a man's house. Guess the door was unlocked or what have you, or somehow gets the door open. Sees a black man standing in her house, or sees a dark figure. I can't say she identified him as a black man in the beginning, but sees a figure that she thinks is an intruder in her home. And if she feared for her life, then the proper thing to do would be to wait for backup. Call the police, do something. But instead, you just open fire into an apartment building. Now, mind you, I'm giving you the case at a high level. So let me just disclose that. There were probably other details than that. That's pretty much the gist of it. She thought she was in her apartment, saw a figure in her apartment, and she opened fire. That's what the case boils down to. That's the Cliff Notes. And here it is, a man is dead. A man is dead. Botham Jean, I do believe is his name. Botham Jean. Dead. Young man. Middle class. Working class. White collar professional man. Black man. Dead. And it don't even really matter what his race is, but we're talking about the difference between blacks and Jews. Young man is dead because she just decided to pull out a firearm and just start firing. And then ask questions later. Before, as a police officer, I would think that she would want to identify who's in her apartment. It could have been her own mother. It could have been her brother surprising her if she thought she was at the wrong apartment building. It could have been a whole bunch of other scenarios. It could have been her boyfriend saying, I'm going to surprise my baby. There's rose petals on the floor. She ain't even see the rose petals. You don't do certain things. There's certain things you just don't do. And here she is, crying like hell in a courtroom. And I hate to say it, but Botham Jean, you got an ignorant brother. Your brother is probably the most, next to this dude Cooper, this bird watcher, aka Fool, Brant Jean. Brant, that's his name. Like Elton Brand, like the basketball player. Brant Jean. Botham Jean's younger brother gets up on the stand crying like a baby, not for his dead brother, for her. And he crying and talking about he don't want her to go to jail and he wants to give her a hug. Boy, I don't know. I've seen it all. I have seen it all with black people. I have seen it all. And put the cherry on the damn top. To put the icing on the cake. The damn judge, after the judge sent this lady to like 5 years, 3 years, she ain't gonna do no more than 2-3 years, y'all. Come on, she ain't gonna do no more than 2-3 years, and these white people gonna set up a GoFundMe to make sure she is straight. Or or her family probably already doing well, and she'll inherit something, and she gonna be fine. She has a life to live. Botham doesn't have a life to live anymore. He doesn't have a home to go to anymore. He's dead. He's in the cemetery. But this lady, she gonna get her life back in about 3 to 5 years. Trust me and believe. I don't think she got that much time. I think she got 10 at the most, maybe 7. And here it is, this black judge. Oh, Lord Jesus, black female judge. Tammy Kemp. Look her up. I don't make these names up. Tammy. Black woman named Tammy. Tammy Kemp. The judge gave the lady, I don't know, 5 years, 7 years, 9 years. She gave her some X amount of years. Got off of the bench, walked down towards this white woman, talked to her for about, I don't know, a minute, 55 seconds, somewhere around that time, between 55 seconds and a minute and 23 seconds. I don't know how long she talked to this lady. Talked to her, holding her, touching her, having a personal conversation. Gave her a Bible, I do believe. Gave her something. And then hugged her. I've never seen anything like that before all the days of my life. You black jokers get sentenced to jail by a white joker. Go to jail. Get a white judge in front of you. See if they're gonna come off that bench and not only give you a hug, but give you a lightweight sentence for murder. Give you a lightweight manslaughter sentence. Be like, nah, that was murder one. Let's just call it manslaughter. Give you a lightweight sentence. Give you a Bible. And put you in jail. I wouldn't be surprised if Tammy Kemp, Judge Tammy Kemp, and old Botham Jean's brother Brant is putting money on this lady's books. Putting something on her commissary while she's in jail. I'm not trying to say that they are. Don't even run with that. But I wouldn't be surprised. You black people we do some fantastical things. Let me also tell you another story too. While we talking about black people just being forgiven, in addition to black people being forgiven of their oppressors, black people just love the oppressors. Let me tell you, I was watching a TV show. It's about Ron Artest, this crazy dude, this crazy joker. Ron Artest probably crazy as hell. He had a special on cable. He was something talking about his life and how he's transformed himself. Ron Artest, aka Meta World Peace, whatever you want to call yourself. I don't even know what you want. You might as well name you. Why don't you call yourself crazy? Call yourself foolish. That's what you should have called yourself. Foolish Ron. That sounded like a perfect name. This is what I want to talk about with Ron Artest. Ron Artest went to the Indiana Pacers. I do believe it was the Indiana Pacers. And I remember watching it on TV. But watching the documentary behind it was just interesting. Because Jermaine O'Neal said when Ron got there, I did everything in my power to make him feel at home. I tried to welcome him. I tried to, talk to him. I tried to be a friend to the Joker. When the fight broke out, and I remember watching the fight on TV. It was on like TNT or something, whatever one of them TV channels that show basketball. I do believe it's TNT, but I could be wrong. Ron Artest, I think, was laying on top of the booth getting ready to check into the game or doing something, but he was laying on top of the scores table or whatever. And some white joker, some white man, don't matter what color he was, but the dude was white because it's going to come back to play an important role, threw a cup of beer right on his stomach or on his face somewhere. It got him good, the whole cup. Number one, this white dude should get a damn medal or something. Somebody ought to sign him to some kind of football or basketball league, because how in the hell do you throw a cup? I'm talking about I ain't talking about a can. I ain't talking about a bottle with a top on it. He threw a damn cup. I think it was a clear cup, like one of them clear Solo red cups that you drink, but only his was clear. A cup full of beer. And as the cup is flying, mind you, from the stands all the way down to the basketball floor, not one drop spills. This cup is just floating in the air like somebody, like the invisible man is carrying it. Damn cup flying in the air. The only time that beer spilt is when it hit Ron Artest in his damn chest. And the first person going up into the stands with you, Ron, was Jermaine O'Neal. He had your back. He got suspended for you. He went into the crowd knowing that was the wrong thing to do and threw blows with you, even though they whooped the wrong Joker's ass. I do believe they whooped the wrong Joker's ass. They thought it was somebody else. You could see the fan in the stands pointing like it wasn't me. It was just Joker, because he wasn't trying to take no ass whooping by no 6'7" Joker's bench pressing weights in the NBA. I wouldn't want to take that ass whooping either. And the fan was like, nope, not me. Dude sitting two feet over. And they whooped some Joker's ass. And they may have whooped the dude who threw the stuff ass too. They may have gotten into blows with him too. But the point is, Jermaine O'Neal went into the stands with you to fight. And to this day, at the end of this damn special, y'all, I swear to God, you have to see it. Ron Artest is like, you know what? I have to make amends with one person. There's one person that I need to make amends with, that I felt compelled to reach out to. It damn sure wasn't Jermaine O'Neal. It was the damn white Joker that threw the the cup of beer on him. This is what I'm talking about. And Jermaine O'Neal's just like, and you watch this special, it's like he feels slighted. This dude did everything he could to welcome you in. You don't even want any parts of him. You still act crazy towards him. He goes into the stand and fights with you, gets suspended for you, get fined for you. And here you are, the only person you think you need to reconcile with 10 years later is this white dude. And you go meet up with him to have a conversation, take a picture. Black people are the craziest people on planet Earth. I swear to God, we crazy. Oh, boy. I swear to God, I can't make this stuff up. Let's just keep this moving. I know y'all probably like, this is such a long, you dragging this conversation out. So let me just jump back into this thing. You don't see Nazi symbols floating around. Nazi symbols are legally abolished in Germany. And they're not prevalent in the United States. If you show a Nazi symbol in the United States, I do believe that's illegal. It is when America beat the Germans. And I do believe like I said, I'm not a history major. So don't hold me to this. This is just me speaking. This is notionally. I'm talking notionally. I do believe when World War II was over in America and we won, well, I shouldn't say we, but the Allies, I guess that's what they called them, the Allies. When the Ally side won, when our side won, because our side consisted of many nations, that's why they called it World War, because it was a bunch of nations fighting against other bunch of nations. One of the stipulations on, I think, Germany and even Japan, because Japan bombed Hawaii. One of the stipulations was you can't have a military ever again. If you need protection, we'll protect you. That was one of the stipulations. I do believe that to be correct. Again, I'm going to state this. I don't know if it's a true fact, but could have sworn that's what I learned in history class. There were stipulations put on these people. You cannot have a military. Japan can't have a military, and I think Germany can't have a military. And I think also, too, that Nazi stuff was abolished. It just was abolished. You can't show Nazi stuff floating around. That's not to say that Nazi flags don't exist, but you cannot have that stuff. That stuff cannot fly nationally. And here it is in the United States of America, you had a half of a country go treasonous with the other half and segregate from the Union. I swear to God, they did. That's what they did. They broke off, and just like the United States went treasonous against Europe or the British or whomever they was a part of. I don't know which one of them European nations when they came over here, and we went treasonous and formed America. You had another side go treasonous against America and decide to form the Confederacy. And after all them lives lost, Here it is. They say, well, you have people today, even foolish ass Trump, I tell you. And not only just him, but a bunch of them Republicans and a bunch of these hicks down here at this stupid ass NASCAR. I shouldn't call NASCAR stupid just because I'm not into it, but I don't understand how you can make it a ritual where you think that it is okay to fly flags around. That's why I'm calling you stupid. And not because of your sport. I don't watch it, but how do you think it's tradition that you can hold stuff from the antebellum South, from good old Dixie, and you think that flying flags, Confederate flags, is amusing to or right to do, and you keep holding this stupid notion that it's not racist, it's cultural. This is foolish stuff. And black people, Tyler, you even have some black people for the flag, talking about it's a part of our history. Negro, what history are you a part of? You fought for your ancestors. You proud to say your ancestors fought for the Confederacy? I'm telling you, there are some black people out here that are just stone cold back stuff crazy. And that's why black people can't get their stuff together. You just don't see this type of stuff with Jewish people. One thing I do want to touch on too is Jews in corporate settings, they work to maintain their power and control amongst themselves. I'm not trying to say they don't allow other people in. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they don't allow other people in. But they ensure that their generations are and their network is secure with other Jewish people. Black people don't even do that. They get a company and the first thing they do is give the white man power and control over it. I've mentioned it before. Dumb Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons is probably the dumbest Buddhist you'll ever see walk on this planet Earth. A black Buddhist. He just like Don Cheadle in Rush Hour 2. You a black man owning a Chinese restaurant on Crenshaw. Russell Simmons, a black Buddhist who uses the N-word every chance he can get out of his mouth. I've never understood that. He won't kill a fly, but he will use the N-word 50 times in one sentence. I don't make this up. Go watch the special. It's a special on Netflix about hip hop. Russell Simmons sitting on the couch with his legs crossed. He always loved doing that, trying to show how flexible he is. And you'll see about 30 N-words fly out of his mouth. He gave his company to Liar Cohn. He promoted that. He said Liar is the only person that's qualified to run my company. He couldn't see any other black face running his company. Liar Cohen's a white fella. He's a Jewish fella, by the way. I know you Jewish people will say I'm being anti-Semitic, but Liar Cohen could have got 38,000 different CEO jobs. Black people can't get one CEO job. So you would think another black person would give him a company. Who best to know hip hop than a black person? So you mean to tell me that there's no other black people qualified to run your company? I'm about to call you the R word. I use the R word, by the way. I'm not going to use it on this thread, but I ain't going to lie to y'all. I do use the R word sometimes in my personal life, just like I use the M word. Russell Simmons crazy. Sean Combs done hired some lady, Roma Kana, Indian lady, dots, not feathers. Roma Kana. He hired her to lead his Revolt Media. You mean to tell me there's no other black people qualified to run your company? This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. You look at all of these white tech companies, these founders of these tech companies, they say we have a pipeline through, and this is a true story. I'm not lying to y'all. Go look, I think it's Facebook and probably even Google. They have a pipeline through Stanford, through their schools, and they have the pipeline with those universities to get those kids jobs. That's why and they're trying to create a quote unquote culture, and they try to get people with like-minded people so that you don't have to go through that whole forming, storming, norming, and performing phase. Hopefully they're trying to get people that are willing to buy into the culture. Why the heck can't a hip hop company or even Oprah Winfrey, a media entertainment company, be like, you know what? I got a pipeline in through Howard University. I got a pipeline with Hampton University, with Delaware State University. with Norfolk State, with A&T, with Morehouse, with Spelman, with Tuskegee, with Grambling. None of these black companies have any type of pipeline with any HBCUs. Those should be the first places that they're hiring from. Like, we're going to give these kids are going to be our interns. We're going to bring them up. And every summer they're going to come work for us. And then when they graduate, they got a job here in management to utilize their business degrees or whatever media communications degrees, whatever kind of degrees they have, they're going to utilize them here. If they're in school for web development or IT, they can utilize those skills here. We will pay them. We will hire them. We don't have pipelines like that. White people have pipelines like that. I'm telling you, black people are crazy. Black people are totally crazy. But that's what Sean Combs, he done turned his company over to Roma Khan. I think she's leaving now. Probably already done left. Let's see who else he gets to hire. Old, everybody's favorite darling, old drug dealing Jay-Z. He done turned this company over. And Jay-Z, I'll tell you something, he loves light-skinned women. So this girl, she's racially ambiguous as far as my eyes is concerned. I'm pretty sure she probably claims black because you hang around black people. She's in a black culture. She may be even black. But he gonna hire light-skinned black. He ain't gonna hire no dark-skinned black, not in no CEO roles. Y'all administrative assistants up there. I guarantee they floating around. I don't know. This is just my assumptions. Oprah Winfrey Company said, look, I looked at, what's this black dude that made the movie Get Out? He's married to a white woman. He loves talking about he's half black. He done married a white woman. He loves trying to make black movies like he's a part of the black culture. You ain't never seen this joker on any black comedian circuit or anything ever. Key and Peele, whatever his name is. He's Key, I think. He's Peele, I do believe. Jordan Peele. I looked on his website at his company. You got a couple of black people down at the bottom of the list. And then when you start moving up in the ranks of the organization, you don't have too many hires, at least not that I saw on his website. As you start moving up, it gets whiter and whiter. So all the white people in charge and controlling big positions, and all the blacks just in regular positions. I'm pretty sure if he got an HR department, the black people leading that department. It's pathetic and it's sad. But I move on. I belabor the point. I'm not going to belabor the point anymore. Another thing is, here's another thing. Jews don't degrade themselves. Jews just do not degrade themselves. Black people allow themselves to be degraded any and every chance that they get. I'm just being honest with you. They just don't. They do not allow it. I'm going to talk about this because, hey, I'm a human being and I'm into this type of stuff. I'm going to talk about porn. I'm into porn. I'll be honest with you. You know, if anybody's going to raise their hand about a good porn movie, it's going to be me. So if you got any kids listening to this, may want to turn it. I'm not going to get too graphic, though. But I'm just going to be admitting that, hey, I watch porn. I like porn. I visit porn adult stores, or I used to when they were stores, frequently. I'll tell you, it's this one website. Matter of fact, trust me, I don't like it. Matter of fact, somebody sent it to me. One of my associates sent it to me. Forwarded me this site. It's like, man, check this out. They were just like, man, this is some bull crap right here. And so they sent it to me a link in via text. And I clicked on the link, and trust me, I got no enjoyment out of it. This almost ruined my porn experience. I swear to God, it almost made me stop watching porn. Notice I said almost, because then I went back to my regular porn channels and said, hey, I'm not going to watch that. It's a website, and I'm not even going to give it a name. I'm not even going to mention its name, because I don't even want to give it any publicity. But it's basically a website where white men degrade black women, and they have them sit on a couch and they ask them all of these questions like, who's your boyfriend? Do you date black guys or white guys? Why do you date white guys and not black guys? What is it about white guys that are better than black guys? Why are these white men so focused on why these black women prefer white men over black men? They love hearing and they say who's got bigger penises, black guys or white guys, aren't ours just as big? And why they're having sex with these girls? They're trying to bang them into submission, and as they're banging them, they're like, aren't ours just as big as white? It's like you have an inferiority. You're trying to compete with black people. They're pouring grape soda on these girls, making them drink grape sodas and making them vomit and clean up the vomit out of dog bowls. They put chains on these girls and shackles on them. And while they're having sex with them, they ask them black history questions to see what they know and see what they don't know. See what they care or see if they don't care. They ask them if they like black men more, white men more. They keep repeating this stuff. And it's in every single video. And like I said, I went through the site because I was like, at first when I saw the one, and I didn't watch the whole thing through, I was just kind of like, man, is this for real? I'm watching the interviews, and I was fast forwarding through, and I'm like, you just get angrier and angrier. And in order to do proper research, I said, well, let me look at some more videos, and trust me, I got no pleasure out of this. And it is truly degrading that what these black girls would do to themselves. You got black girls talking about, I ain't really black. I'm not really black. There's one black girl sitting on the couch, black as day. I'm not really black. Yeah, my mother's mixed with this, so I'm not technically black. And let the white man do everything he do to her. There's another website too, because the guy sent it to me. He sent me the two links in the text. It was some girls, or a girl, black girl, with about 10, 12 white dudes surrounding her with Confederate t-shirts on. And she's apparently going to have either, going to give oral sex to all of these guys, or she's going to have penetrative sex with all of these guys. Why do we subject ourselves to this type of stuff? You don't see Jewish people do this type of stuff. We subject ourselves. We are just eager to please white people. I swear to God. It almost, like I said, it almost ruined my porn experience. Just thinking about it right now, it ticks me off. It really does. I don't even know why I brought that up. But because that one definitely ticks me off, just to see, just to think about what black women went through during slavery and rape. And to see that. And, and I will say this, let me add this in, because I noticed that the site, when you go from the older content to the newer content at the end, he started putting like post-sexual encounter interviews where the black girls on the couch like, my experience here was great. No, I asked for you to put my head in the toilet bowl. I asked for you to degrade me and about black stuff. And so they're trying to show you that, this is all in, I guess, fun. There's nothing fun or funny about it. Not for me. Like I said, you almost ruined my porn experience. Swear to God. I had to work in the porn thing, y'all. But I'm just going to let y'all know. I also had to confess to y'all that I am a porn aficionado. I guess that's also why I put that in there too. Just to let y'all know, because it's going to come back up on later threads. Final thing, and I'm going to conclude with this, is that blacks don't own or control any industries. Jews do. Blacks don't own anything. I've said that before in most threads, so that's why I'm not going to belabor this point. Jews do. The dumbest thing I hear black people say, and I know my thread is starting to become a beat up on the negative aspects of black people. That's because we just do so much negative and dumb stuff. And I want to see us excel and be greater than what we are or what we have been. I hate to hear black people use the term Black Twitter. I really do. What the hell are you talking about, Black Twitter? Did some black joker buy a 50% stake in Twitter? There's no such thing as black. Oh man, somebody said so-and-so and Black Twitter went crazy. There's no such thing as Black Twitter. You just a speck. And I don't mean that to, with pun intended, but you are just a speck of the universe of the users on Twitter. You got a whole website called Black Planet, owned and controlled by a black person. I do believe Miss Kathy Hughes, who owns TV One, bought Black Planet. You guys don't even use it. It's about 3,000 users on Black Planet. I try to use it. That's why I put stuff up on there. Black people won't even use it. You don't control anything. You control nothing. You are high paid workers. That's the most that you'll ever be is your NBA players. You are high paid workers. Jews own and control stuff. I know it sounds stereotypical, but they own and control financial industries. They own and control the media and entertainment industry. You own and control nothing. It's unfortunate, but you don't. So that's the difference between blacks and Jews. I really wanted to point that out because I really think that those two groups have gone through hell. Native Americans have gone through hell too. So we leave them out a lot. Native Americans have gone through hell. It's probably like I said, it may be 100,000 of them jokers left. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm exaggerating too, but I'm not trying to be funny. But there's just so few of them left. They've gone through hell. They've gone through extermination and whitewashing. They're probably more synonymous with the black struggle than white people's struggle. Than the Jewish struggle, because blacks, and they try to enslave the Native Americans, the indigenous people of America, and they did enslave blacks. They pretty much exterminated and wiped out all of the indigenous Americans, and they exterminated a lot of black people through the course of history, through lynchings, just through the passage, the voyage to get to America. Very few people survived that. There's probably 1 million lives lost just in the transportation from Africa to the United States alone, and to Portugal and to, the islands. There were more black people that died in transit, and then more died in slavery. So there was, indigenous peoples lost control of their land. They've lost control of America, North America. And pretty much blacks were colonized. They lost control of Africa. Then not all the whole continent, but they lost control of at least South Africa and other parts of Africa that they just got back recently. And when I say recently, I'm talking about 1960s, 1970s, 1950s. That's not that far off. So, yeah, you look at Native American struggle. It's very it's parallel to the black struggle. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Jewish people. I'm not trying to take anything away from black people or from Native Americans. I'm just trying to point out the difference between blacks and Jews, just to show you guys we have to get it together. And look, when I say we, I mean it with you guys, because I do foolish stuff too. I'm pretty sure y'all probably saying this blog is foolish. Probably is. But I'm just trying to shed light on the deficiencies that we do, and also on the excellent things that we do, and how we just need to move forward on those paths. So again, if you have any questions for me, I definitely would appreciate your questions. Hit me up. My contact information is on the website. Post questions to me. I will read your questions and respond to as many as I can. Also, if you want to donate to keep it going, please donate. I'm not asking for $10,000. Hey, if you got that type of bread to drop on me, perfect, fine, I'll take it. But hey, $1 here, $1 there. Anything helps to keep the site going, just to fund us and to fund what we do. Because pretty soon people gonna try and cancel me out. There's gonna be a cancel culture against me as well. But until then, this is the Political Brown Kid sounding out. I want you to stay safe, be healthy,